The training yard was blazing under the afternoon sun. Dust rose with every boot that hit the ground. The air was filled with sweat, pride, and unspoken rivalry. Soldiers stood in formation, their faces hard, their eyes sharp. And that's when the new officer walked in. Calm, composed, her uniform perfectly pressed. Before I tell you what happened next, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Valley. Tell me where you're watching from. Her name was Lieutenant Sarah Holt, newly assigned to the base after 2 years of field operations overseas. She didn't walk like she needed attention. She walked like she belonged. But sometimes confidence has a way of attracting the wrong kind of notice. At the far end of the yard, a group of Navy SEALs were finishing drills, loud, joking, the kind of men who'd seen combat and wore it like armor. One of them, Petty Officer Ryan Blake, wiped sweat from his brow and grinned as Sarah passed. "Hey, ma'am," he called out, voice half teasing. "What's your rank again? Want me to salute or just smile?" A few men chuckled. It wasn't cruel, but it wasn't respectful either. Sarah stopped mid-step. Her eyes, calm and unreadable, turned toward him. "You can do whichever you think earns you more honor, Petty Officer," she said softly. Her tone was even, not defensive, not angry. Just steady. The laughter faded. The air changed. Ryan blinked, caught off guard, but before he could respond, the base captain, a man in his 50s with a stern posture and quiet authority, appeared from behind them. Captain Hayes had heard enough. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. "Lieutenant Holt," he said, "is the same officer who led the convoy extraction in Helmand last year. The one who pulled 2 wounded soldiers from a burning vehicle under fire." The entire base seemed to go still. Ryan's smirk disappeared. A slow silence spread like ripples in still water. Sarah just stood there, unflinching, humble, her eyes lowered slightly. No pride, no anger, only discipline. Captain Hayes turned to Ryan. "Son, when you ask someone their rank, ask it to learn, not to laugh. Some people earn their silence in ways louder than medals." The SEAL nodded, his face pale. "Understood, sir." The captain's voice softened. "Good, because respect isn't about who's louder or who's stronger. It's about who's earned the right to stand without needing to prove it." The men stood quietly as Sarah gave a short nod and continued walking toward the briefing hall. Every soldier watched her go, not because of her rank, but because of what she carried in her silence. Later that day, Ryan found her near the hangar. She was reviewing reports, her sleeves rolled up, the light of sunset painting her face in gold. He hesitated, then stepped forward. "Lieutenant," he said quietly, "I owe you an apology." She looked up, her expression calm as ever. "No need," she replied. "We all learn something every day." He nodded, guilt heavy in his voice. "Still, for what it's worth, I read about Helmand." "I should have recognized your name." Sarah gave the faintest smile. "Names fade, Petty Officer. Actions don't. There was no tension now. Just mutual respect. The kind that doesn't need an audience." When Ryan walked back across the base, the men who had laughed earlier were silent. They knew what he knew now, that humility was heavier than pride, and real strength never asked to be seen. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the training yard. The same place that had once echoed with laughter now stood still, not out of guilt, but out of quiet reverence, and in that stillness, something had changed, not in her rank, but in their hearts, because sometimes it only takes one calm voice to silence a room full of noise. If this story moved you, like, comment, share your Kindness Valley thoughts below, and subscribe for more untold stories.